there's no rest for neither the righteous nor the wicked. Our heroes awake to a new adventure in Ardwall this week on the Hapless Heroes. And I'm saying, how do you even know? Like,
that's not the point! Can you even prove it, man?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast.
Hi, Fran.
Hi, I'm Francesco, and I am your host and DM for this adventure. I have a wonderful cast of characters with me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. Many of you know them as Mike as Lord and Captain Quint Southwind.
Oh, thank God. People still know me.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Oh, man. Oh, I don't feel rested at all.
Dave as Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
My students were singing to me about how I lost that lovin' feeling, but I don't think I ever had it to begin with.
And John as Lord Jarrell the Light.
I killed the doppelganger. Now, where did he go?
So we don't have Zach with us tonight. He will be back with us in a couple of weeks. However, we are going to get some things set up for a brand new adventure now that we've gotten through our super spooky episode with some super spooky nightmares.
Ooh.
And you guys also had sort of gotten through the first major day and discussion for the Summit of the Southern Kingdoms. You are now literally building, well, you and every nation in the Southern Kingdoms is collaborating to build a fleet, an armada of airships to take the fight to the undead, to form a unified front against a common foe.
Now, I had a question. Are they going to pretty much make dragons extinct? Like, if they all need dragons?
No, the dragons are a civilized. Some dragons are a civilized people. They are all living in the Dragonlands to the north.
But are they just going to give us their dragon wings for our fleet?
No.
We use them on our ship. We had killed 2 dragons for the wings. I hope they don't just start poaching dragons out there.
Well, we'll
We
see.
needed something right away. The Omega Project can probably synthesize something given a few months.
Yeah, now that there's time and a goal and resources and funding and the power and might of all of the kingdoms combined.
Yeah.
And airbags were an other option that we just chose not to go with.
We were on a budget.
So I mean, and that's the thing. It's like there's going to be probably a good amount of negotiation as far as terms, resources, funding, all the things. Everyone pulling their resources. That's probably what's going to now comprise the majority of the rest of the discussions throughout the summit. With many of the world leaders even maybe sending some of their aides and retainers of their own to have some of these discussions by proxy. So as you guys awake, as we had said at the end of the last episode, Hedrick, wakes up to, Tessa Southwind still, in a room with you, but she quickly, you were trying to show her some weird, so you were trying to teach her how to twerk, and she's just watching you twerk.
Yeah, disguise it as my morning stretches, but then it quickly becomes a lesson.
Yeah, she at no point actually takes part in the lesson. She just watches you do it.
It's enjoyable for everybody.
It kind of
It's mesmerizing.
Just chuckling to herself at the ridiculousness of this weird, strange dance that you are doing. And she just says, "Charming," and she quickly gets dressed and says, "I will have to attend to some important matters now as the summit continues. So that was fun. We'll see each other around." And she
Wonderful.
And she just kind of gives you a wink and leaves.
I'll see you there.
Quinn, you wake up and as you exit your room, you see Tessa exiting Hedrick's.
Oh, I see her coming out of the room?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you the opportunity to to just have a
rub
thought.
the salt in the wound.
Because you didn't see them leave together, but you see her now in the morning leaving his room.
Good. We get to harvest a good awkward moment here.
You're goddamn right. I'm not about to deny the audience this experience.
Quinn's so pissed.
Quinn is
I'm trying to think of what is a good reaction to this.
yeah, but you're just sitting here with your mouth agape right now, and I feel like that's the reaction.
Well,
Right.
that's Mike,
right. I do.
that's Mike's thinking face.
Is it?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just like staring at her with your mouth open as she wanders down the hall.
She goes the opposite direction of you, so she doesn't even see you. You just see her walking away.
Oh, so she's going the other way.
Uh-huh.
Do you pick
So-
your job?
I think I'm.
And by room, I should say bungalow. I forgot. You guys are all staying in your own like private, like little beach bungalows in this private cove. Yeah.
I think
The
I
Copacabana.
I
Yeah.
like that.
I let her go, but I knock on his door.
Hedrick, there's a knock at your door.
You were just doing nude stretches.
Yeah, actually, are you still naked?
Please be naked. Please have done the whole aerobic routine.
I would say that I've put on the robe, loosely tied, no knot, and now I'm kind of like looking for whatever morning routine I have. Maybe there's a bit of breakfast there.
Maybe a little pre-ritualizing.
Yeah, and I'm just looking in the mirror.
Let's keep our order of events straight.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I'm doing what I'm envisioning correctly, and you can only get the proper perspective from behind you. So I'm kind of looking back over my shoulder in the mirror as I go. Come on in.
I open the door.
As I get a glimpse of you, I make sure to get eye contact before I stop doing what I'm doing, and then I make sure the robe is closed.
An early morning, I see.
They say the early bird, catches that morning special sunrise eggs. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You understand she's my sister.
Is she? I mean, I know she says she's a Southwind. She's got a dagger.
Mm-hmm.
But are you sure? I mean, how many siblings do you have?
I don't think that's the point right now.
There's like 3 more of them around here, and it just so happens.
And I can't have sex
And what are
with
you
any
going
of
to
them?
diddle all of them?
I'm just saying.
I mean, it wasn't before.
Let's say you didn't have a very high opinion of these people, and then you find out that they're your brothers and sisters. Would that change your opinion about them at all?
I don't understand your point. My sister just came out of your room.
And I'm saying, how do you even know? Like, she
That's not the point!
Can you even prove it, man?
yeah, we had some late night discussions.
Charisma roll?
Oh, yeah. Okay, deception against your insight.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that sucks. I don't have very good insight.
I'm going to give you advantage on this one, though, Mike.
He needs it.
Oh,
bumps
yeah.
the other one.
The other one was better.
So that one
Yeah.
turns to a 1. So 8 plus 4 is 12.
That will not beat my 28.
Of deception.
I'm going to say you maintain your suspicions, Quinn,
Uh-huh.
but you don't really know how far things went.
They went pretty far. If you
Give or
know what
I'm going to simply do the 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers at him.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just
Watching you.
kind of giving him the I'm watching you.
better not watch him
symbol.
later tonight.
And I just,
Well, I am going to kind of just slap my hand on my hip and say, get a good look.
now you're pushing your limits. I'm just gonna slowly back out of the room
The house.
and
the
just
bungalow,
like
yeah.
giving him the stare down the whole time.
And I'm just going to start humming as I'm getting my clothes on.
You can hear it through the window.
You
On your
can
way out.
see him dancing.
Yeah,
across his room.
blinds
through the
are
window.
blinds are wide open.
I don't think we needed to roll for that.
No.
I'm pretty sure what happened.
Yeah, you're just like I'm only going to say that's why I said it's more about you don't know how far things went.
Yeah.
You know he's not.
I know he's either
You don't know. You don't think he's full of shit. You just think that there's definitely more to that, but you don't really. He's just.
Yeah.
You can't really make heads or tails of it.
I'm trying to at least give him the sentiment that it's not as big of a deal as he's making it out to be.
Well, to you,
Right.
right? That's subjective.
There are multiple
Hedrick.
parties involved in this now.
Oh, we can have a party.
just remember I might have a very big family.
Moving
A lot
moving
of
on.
bigger brothers.
Yes, but you might be using that
Well,
word
it's
in a
good to
way
know
that
that.
the rest of your family are not using it.
Right. Moving on. While a naked and displaced Arion Black is making his way back to you guys, because he literally just woke up in the middle of nowhere.
And started walking back towards town.
Yep. Zero has spent the better part of the night preparing a training plan for the red shirts and
yeah.
and Jed Dim.
Yes.
Is the first recruit?
Jed Dim is Jed Dim is like picking up on everything. He is
Yeah.
your star pupil.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And we're gonna get to just you starting to make preparations or whatever, and a representative from the Omega Project actually comes to you, Zero,
Yes.
and says that there is there's a breakout meeting happening right now with a few members of the project, and would appear a few of the aides and of some of the leaders said there appears to be something that requires your special attention.
Fantastic. Lead the way.
Okay, so you start making your way there. Jarrell, you're gonna wake up. You probably wake up like swinging your arms. You know what I mean,
Right.
wildly.
Right.
As it was all just a dream, you fighting this shadow version of yourself.
When I wake up, I don't remember where the fight took place, and I start searching the room for the body of this doppelganger.
Yeah, it's not there. Because you remember it took place in some weird sort of desiccated cathedral to Valen that just had like essentially an altar, right? But no doors
Yeah.
entering or exiting.
I remember fighting someone that looked like myself. They were wearing different armor.
They were all black.
Right.
Right.
Do I feel rested after that?
You feel like the energy that you spent in your dream, actually you feel exhausted today.
So I actually probably wake up hurting quite a bit.
I'm gonna say
'cause
that
I was down to a lot.
half of the resources that you spent during that fight are still expended. So you can get half of your spell slots for each level that you expended, rounded down, and half of, like your max HP regained.
Okay, well, I'm going to realizing that I'm not feeling well. I wasn't wearing my armor to sleep, obviously, so that's kind of odd to me. And I use lay on hands and however much health I have to use to regain to get full HP.
Sure.
And I walk out of my room and I find my retainers and Basha.
Yeah. Your squire informs you that Zero has been called to a special meeting, and your presence has also been requested.
Oh. All right then. We're off. Have any of you seen a man come out of my room?
I don't know, Jarrell. They have us in the servants' quarters. It's just as nice, but it's a bit separated.
I want to say that Jarrell can't be afraid, but he is now, again, just to reiterate.
Yeah, he's immune to being frightened. Yes, we know.
But I will say that he's probably a little paranoid now about doppelgangers.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna add that to your flaws.
I'm going to add that to my flaws.
That's amazing.
I
love you for that.
At least not always consciously, but like my passive perception can sometimes be used to be looking for people who look like me.
That's fair. Yeah, that really shook you. As shook as Jarrell can be.
Shooketh.
So, similarly, Hedrick and Quinn, you guys also get word that the presence of the hot is needed in a small breakout meeting with some members of the project and representatives of some of the other leaders. The leaders themselves will not be in attendance for this meeting, as they are currently discussing terms for the Armada.
What I do want to specify is that that mass suggestion lasts for 24 hours.
So it's probably over now. Or no.
No, it
it's
wouldn't
got
be.
another-
It's probably
yeah,
been
full
12,
day.
12 to
Yeah.
14 hours is, I don't know if it was 8 p.m. and we adjourned last night, and it may be 8 in the morning, 9, 10 in the morning now.
Yep, so you've still got half a day.
So there's still 10, possibly 12 hours left for that compromise to still be rolling through
It
everyone
seems like it's
else.
still working. They're all
Yeah.
working together right now.
Now, the Omega Project leader, obviously, I didn't need to do that too, as well as the Queen and the Baron.
Yeah.
So, eventually you guys all arrive, and this is another room of part of the larger compound that's here in this private cove. And it appears to be a few scientists and maybe one or two aides from what it looks like Erlen and Laswall. And they're discussing something. You can see a couple blueprints, as well as a map hung up on the far wall as you enter. And it's like a table. Everyone's kind of sitting around poring over these blueprints and diagrams. And one of these scientists, a gnome, perks up when Zero walks in and says, Zero, it is so good to see you. And the heroes as well.
Yes.
It's just an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. We know how capable you are, and we figured we might be able to make use of maybe your special talents while the Armada is, all that is going on. There is something that is rather pressing that we need to maybe take advantage of the time we have now, as it could be a potential and very significant tool for us to use against the growing undead threat.
All right. What's cooking, short stack?
We are at your disposal.
Just inserting here, in the intervening evening, Zero has lost his +1 plate armor lab coat and has gone full Top Gun. He's wearing a
Wait, what does
extra
that
large
mean?
leather jacket with the wool lining
Oh, perfect.
and trifocal aviators.
Because you're getting ready to be the training captain.
yes, he's gone full R.
You said trifocal?
Trifocal
Amazing.
aviators.
I don't think he needs seeing aids.
No, he doesn't.
So, anyways, the scientist continues. So we are currently, as we can see, the success of the Project Zero was astounding, greater than we could have ever.
You could say that again. I've seen him kill so many things.
Like I said, yes. I mean, absolutely. I mean, results that far exceeded our expectations. We decided to make some, and forgive us for saying this, as Zero, you are perfect in every way. But some enhancements or some changes to our initial designs to maybe potentially expand the types of things that these mobile weapons platforms can do.
You're going to make more of him?
It's
Awesome!
Well,
something
absolutely.
like
It's
that.
the culmination of this project.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing.
I was never meant to be the only one.
I'm just picturing like the Terminator army marching through a horde of zombies.
Zero, they'll be like your little killing machine children.
Well, this is more. It's a bit bigger than that. As you guys may recall from the time you spent at Laswall, there was those gigantic undead titan things that we've never seen before ever in our lives.
We've seen them a couple times, but yes, they're massive and terrifying.
Right? They're literally the worst. So we were trying to figure out something to stop them.
Yes.
I don't believe you have any more magical portents of holy power just lying around.
Unless you count me.
And the scientist just kind of blinks a couple times, right? Like as you've interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we were discussing a potential new prototype. We're calling it Project 11 because we decided to just essentially take Project 1 and just double it.
That makes sense.
Take
Yeah,
that,
That
and
checks out.
double it.
So we may have, as this technology obviously is very dangerous, and as wonderful as the deserts of the Dominion of Kalnor are to test things, we needed to bring it to the mainland to, well, might as well do a live test, if we can, or at least like just make sure everything is in working order.
Hold on, just to clarify, are we making a Jaeger? Because that would be fucking epic.
I think they're just upscaling me.
Yeah, but can we have like a giant version of you that you pilot?
I'm gonna go ahead and just
Russian nesting murder bots.
potentially write that down as that sounds pretty cool because that's not what I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, it's all fun and games till I get that big and then start calling everybody meatbag.
Right.
Go full HK-47 on us.
When I'm too big to be stopped, yes.
Yeah.
Now I am the one who does the stomping.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's
That was out of character. That
Yeah.
was John asking. Because I don't think anybody in Teldoria knows what a Jaeger is.
right.
Oh, that stuff ain't so bad.
If you look
kinda
down,
sweet.
I mean, I will to address the question though. When you guys look down at the table, there a lot of the drawings show what appears to be like something that looks like Zero, but it has 4 legs, and 2 heads, and 2 arms, and it's pretty big. It's almost like
It's like a 2-headed scorpion king.
kind of, but it kind of bells out towards the bottom. Like the bottom is sort of a little bit more like it's sort of like a bell shape, right? With the heads on top, the arms coming out, and then like the 4 legs kind of at the bottom. Yeah, right.
Does all the 4 hands have a separate weapon?
2 arms, and both of those are just, they look like just like long, like cylindrical, like there's no hands on them. It's just like an opening at the
Plasma
end.
cannons.
Yeah. It's very, it looks rather ridiculous, but based on these scales that are written on there, you think this thing is pretty big.
Cool.
Now, are they planning on what materials are they going to be using to construct this? Because I know Zero's own shape has had an overhaul, and are you going to try to make these out of like fine metals, or are you just going to put them together with wood?
I'm sure
We've
they
got
have-
this.
Right.
I'm just flabbergasted. Like everything you guys do is just wacko.
You've probably never met the Omega Project before.
Only,
Not
only
this extent.
like no, yeah, never to this extent.
Well, we're not necessarily looking for your help in testing this or deploying it. We're mainly looking for help locating the people who were working on the project.
What happened to them?
Well, you see, we were actually in the middle of. We were trying to bring it. We were going to first try to test it by actually bringing it up to Mount Rose to see to do a range test over into just firing over the mountains into the Crucible lands. But during some of the setup, the machine is set up there, but many of our scientists have started to go missing. It's more like, well, the scientists who were working on it haven't really been reporting back. And when we sent another team out to look for them, there was some hastily scrawled notes, and we were a bit worried. As some of the scientists were journaling that they were starting to hear voices, which obviously is never a good sign.
No.
And they could see that there are footsteps leading away from their camp, their where they were setting things up. But they just kind of got lost in the snow eventually. So we have no idea where they may have ended up.
So now Mount Rose is how far? Is it like on the border wall, or is
Mount
it-
Rose is
I
kind of
forget.
heading. So it's sort of northwest of where Tarantus was.
Okay, but it's quite a distance from the Crucible land. They were just firing
I
over
wouldn't.
the wall.
They wanted to test distance, range, right, to see maybe how well where they could set these things up so that they are also not in any danger of being destroyed.
Right.
and trying to do a range test where obviously firing into the Crucible lands, no one really lives there, so it wouldn't really be
As long as you can hit it, just fire away.
right. But it's close enough to at least like some of the mountains that, create the border to the Crucible lands that they would be able to, actually have an accurate test. Because even if it hits a mountain, there's no villages or anything like that, in that area, at least below the mountains to the north, because no one's going to be living right on the border mountains to, where all the fucking undead are.
But certainly, they'd be attracting attention from everything, either scaring them away or.
Well, that's the thing.
attracting
We
something.
always send a detachment of some of our finest military, or science military, paramilitary group. But I guess whatever you'd call like essentially a private military. And even they like have gone missing.
It sounds like something is trying to tamper with your tests.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting.
I've seen this before.
We have a crew there now, and so far we've been getting communication back from them regularly, and everything seems to be okay again. But I'm quite worried. Is this the crew we've sent there really is not as familiar with this project as some of our lead scientists who were working on the deployment. It's a very delicate process. We only have one of these right now, and we want to make sure that this prototype works properly.
How long ago was your last contact with them?
It's been about a week.
Hearing voices.
Yes, that's what some of their journals on site would suggest. You are free to investigate the site. I will give you the location, and I will, inform our people that you are coming.
So you've been to the site.
Yeah, I mean, I helped source it.
So they've literally gone missing.
Yes.
Okay.
He said that twice now.
I just thought they did because he said they didn't report back, so I was confused about whether they had been at the
It seems
site.
like they've sent like reinforcement groups and they keep going missing.
Yes.
Do you have names of who we're looking for?
You gonna do this to me?
Well, we always just leave without actually asking any questions, so I figured this time maybe Jarrell should actually ask.
Let's go to the bucket.
details.
Name
Even
bucket.
if we can settle for dossiers on our way out.
Right. We don't need each one of them to be named, but as long as we have a list of their
Yeah.
names.
Yeah. Can we say later that we know their names?
Yeah, some sort of roster.
Yeah.
Just so we know how many
He's already in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who we're looking for.
I'm sure
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a backlog now.
Yeah, no. Why stop him now?
We don't want to accidentally bring any imposters back here.
If you could just name the scientists that we need to find. Yeah, no doppelgangers, goddammit.
Because, knowing their names would help with that in any way.
Oh my god.
Unless you show
No.
up and there's two.
Oh,
And then
there's
which
a
one do you shoot?
nice little
What's
thumbnail
your
next to their
name?
Shoot him, he's the doppelganger. Shoot him, he's the human.
How come everybody on this roster is named Spartacus?
God.
It also reminds me of, I'll tell you.
Well, the lead scientist was Diggory.
Didgeridoo?
Yes.
Like degree, like Grigri?
no, Diggory.
Oh, okay.
Diggory.
Like as in Cedric Diggory.
Yeah, like
and-
no diggory, no doubt.
Right. And without Diggory, really, this project couldn't have gotten off the ground. So they're the person I'm the most concerned about.
Diggory.
All right.
As well as, his crew, his team.
Aside from the physical location, why did you choose that place? Did it seem safe or just the best conditions for your testing?
Well, as you, I hate to be so morbid, but through great tragedy, sometimes great opportunity also arises. And with the community of Mount Rose having fled and relocated their people to safer places after the loss of Tarantus, as you can, the area itself is quite remote and quiet, and a great place to set up an operation because no one really lives there anymore. And Tarantus is kind of gone, so it's just kind of gave us a good place to start.
Those all sound like good reasons.
Oh, this is where the long play started.
Yes,
right? We
at the
started
Mount
in
Rose
Mount
Casino.
Mount Rose, the village, not the mountain itself.
Right.
Oh, this is on the mountain.
On the mountain,
Okay.
Okay.
It's like a Yucca Mountain kind of thing going on up there.
kind of, yeah.
All right.
That's it. That's all I had to say.
Zero. Do you require any other information?
Are you sending anyone with us?
Do we need to?
Oh, a map would be helpful. At least let us know exactly where the location.
Okay, here's a map.
Cool. Thank you.
I do have tons of questions. Most of them would be better answered by the scientists.
Up there. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's in our best interests to find them. Otherwise, I'm going to talk all of your ears off about encabulation rates, and power generation,
Zero,
nutrient
how-
leakage.
How fast can we get there by airship?
Yeah, Zero's eyebrows go.
Just slowly rubs his hands together.
See how fast this thing can go? Is that what Jarrell just asked? God damn
Fast
it.
you did. Fast enough.
Right. That wasn't the intended question, but that's the question Zero heard.
And you would be free to take the airship because at this point, like anything that would be needed as far as designs and whatnot, they've
Yeah.
already drawn them up.
Oh, I'm sure
so
they've
the
had
physical
that.
airship is really yours to use. It's not really needed here.
And technically, it still belongs to the Omega Project if it belongs to anyone but us.
Yeah, you are the sole proprietors of this particular airship.
How many pilot trainees do we bring?
I am bringing just Star Pupil for this one.
Just
Jed,
Star Pupil?
Yeah,
Jed Dim?
Jed Dim. Jed Dim is going to be working the helm with me for this one, but we're going to be running a light crew.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So Jed Dim and you guys all head to the airship.
Yeah.
Well, Jed Dim is already on the airship.
Yes.
Or Jed Dim.
I'm making sure like the A-team crew members are here for this one.
And we have sent a group of interns to Last Wall.
Not last while you guys were going to try to send them to Scrag.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to address that when everyone's here.
Okay. Okay.
As far as which detachment, like that's still being negotiated right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So, like, it's right now, like the front is holding, but they are at risk of being overwhelmed if, like, you know, more decisive action isn't taken because it's like they can keep fighting for now.
It sounds like this project is going to help with that too.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
we could definitely go get that at least kick-started, and then by the time we get back, we'll know where they want us next. That's my guess.
Right, because Jarrell had initially made the suggestion of essentially sending a detachment of interns to help with the fight in Scrag, in like the lands of the Troll King.
Yeah.
And then you guys were going to go just like head first right into the Crucible lands to try to tackle the problem at its source. With the full might of the Southern Kingdoms behind you.
Okay, so now as we're getting ready to take off, who sits in the captain's chair?
The captain.
Clearly.
Yeah. Zero is at the helm.
Right. So, do you have any idea
piloting.
how to fly this ship after Zero's been?
He doesn't have to.
No,
No,
that's what he's there
he's
for.
in command.
Right.
I'm the
I'm,
helmsman.
I'm the one that makes like final decisions, but
Right.
he's the one driving the thing.
Cool.
Yeah. The captain is just in charge.
Captain Hook doesn't steer the wheel. Smee
Right.
does.
Right.
Yeah.
I like
Actually,
that. That's what
Smee
you chose.
is in charge of the day to day of the
I
boat.
mean, technically speaking, Smee is
he's
like,
the boatswain.
Right. He's the one that controls the ship.
But you're not Smee.
No.
Right.
I'm Captain Hook.
You're Captain Hook.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Glad we cleared that up.
Yep.
So, Captain Hook. I mean,
Or Picard.
Captain Quinn Southwind. Yeah, but you chose Captain Hook, which is really funny to me. That like that's of
Especially
all,
with
the, of
the
all the
hat.
captains to compare yourself to.
Well,
you went with Hook.
It's a ship.
Uh huh.
Yeah, there's plenty of captains
Don't worry about
in the
it.
history
No,
of
no. But that's
and
who
the
he chose.
hat and the feather.
Well, I also remembered quickly who his first mate was. That's
Sure.
why I was.
It's me.
I hate you.
That's okay.
I love you, but I hate you.
I know.
I mean, there are plenty of great pilots, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But Zero is the world's greatest airship pilot.
Apparently.
Right.
This is the Normandy and Zero is Joker. Hang on.
So,
So, yeah, do you call the orders then for takeoff?
Sure.
I'm going to put the full might of the interns and everybody, like the whole team's on board. This is our party select ship. So, you know, obviously when we disembark, you guys just tell me who you're bringing with you.
I imagine we're pretty much running on a full ship, especially
Yes.
if this is Dead Jim or Jed Dim's.
Excuse me, who's dead Jim?
He's
Yeah.
not.
Jed Dim.
Right,
He's
we're
Jed
talking
Dim.
about Jed Dim. Jed Dim is not dead, Jim.
It's funny how I can mess up a previous mess up later on.
Just gonna keep it rolling.
Right.
So, so you guys essentially embark. So I guess your first order of business is probably to investigate, the actual site where they went missing from.
Yep.
I'm assuming is where you're going. So you're able to easily follow the coordinates, and it's definitely like in a nice secluded part of the mountain. The camp is a little ways down from where they were trying to deploy this prototype 11, but you can see it like as you approach as you're like kind of flying towards the peak of the mountain, just like the size of this thing.
We see the machine.
Yes, it is not operational at this time,
Right.
but it looks like it's still even being assembled.
Okay.
The supports and the legs are in place as far as it's structurally stable. It's just that it hasn't been fully assembled because
Right, we
you would
haven't
assume that it's
fought-
probably came up here prepackaged.
Have we fired it? Have they fired it?
No, they never got that far.
Cool.
However, the camp, there's not really a good place for you guys to necessarily moor. You can essentially drop anchor, and you're going to have to essentially toss a rope ladder down to get down to the site. There's not really a good place for you to park the thing.
Okay. And then there's people with ropes lowering down some of the bigger stuff.
Yes, but first, I would like Zero to make me an airship piloting check. It'd be vehicles air,
Okay.
which you are not proficient in.
There is no vehicles on here, so
Right. I would, I'll give you proficiency because
Animal
you are
handling?
the world's best airship pilot.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it with the.
I also literally developed the protocols for doing this.
Right.
Right.
You are the one and only person proficient in airship piloting.
Yeah. Let's see. So that becomes a 12.
Okay.
Are there any pedestrians?
You shush.
No, not necessarily.
I just remember that being a portion of the world.
Yes.
But when the anchor is dropped, it definitely obliterates a herd of deer.
What? Just crush a bunch of deer?
It's a big anchor.
So yes, there were pedestrians and you murdered them.
Man, we're gonna eat good tonight. Love venison.
No, I mean
It's
obliterated.
deer paste at this
Yeah,
point.
right.
Pate. You never had pate. My man, it's just grass fed
And it's cold up here, so it's probably well preserved.
and grass spread.
Yikes.
Gross.
Moving on from gratuitous violence.
Woof.
Hey, you did it.
I did. You guys do manage to drop anchor, and start throwing rope stuff like down. You're lowered low enough that you're still not necessarily in the trees, but are able to take a rope ladder down without being too afraid of heights. Even though
Now-
Jarrell's not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
Now, when Zero's not piloting, is the Dwarfson piloting? Because he could probably do it.
Who do you place in charge of maintaining the? Because I'm looking at the captain. Who do you place in charge of maintaining the sort of just steadiness of the airship while you guys are disembarked?
I look at Zero. Who do you place in charge?
You're such a good, decisive captain. You have
So
no idea
decisive.
what's going
He's been
on with your
training
ship.
them.
Yeah.
The
I know.
Dorfson is
train
our
them.
crew's only functional adult, sir.
then the Dorfson it is.
Do you keep Jed Dim on the ship?
do we
Yes,
bring him
Jed
back?
Dim has to stay on the ship.
Okay.
He's the Dorfson is going to make sure no shithousery happens.
Right.
But Jed Dim is going to make sure the ship doesn't actually drift away.
Right. Exactly. As you guys are low, climbing down this rope ladder down to the to the ground, you can hear like a whimpering on the rope ladder, and you see it's actually Dilbertram, because he's
Stuck in the rope.
because it's like a little wobbly, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like as he's coming down, and he's just he's having a bit of a panic attack as he's coming down this ladder.
So he's afraid of heights. Is
or afraid of rickety rope ladders.
Okay.
You're not really sure. He's afraid of something.
Zero is making a note to have the apparatus for fast roping be able to add.
Right.
To be able to be added to this.
Oh, sure. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, because the best thing to do for someone who's afraid of heights is literally just bungee cord them off of a fucking.
No, I mean for those of us who are incapable of feeling fear or, have no sense of mortality.
Oh, okay.
How high off the ground are we?
I'd say you're still. Let's see. You're still probably climbing down like a good 2 stories. So that's what, like 30
Are we
feet?
we're higher than the trees?
At least in this area, yeah. Because as you get closer to the top of a mountain, the trees are pretty
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
If we're higher than the trees, while Dill Bertram is struggling to make his way down the rope ladder, Dedu is just circling around him and just
Honking?
Yeah.
That's such a dick move.
You-
Just showing off that you can fly while this dude is terrified of heights.
So I was thinking about whether or not I wanted to do this because I'm not playing that character, but Dedu will cast Fly
On Dilbertram?
on Dill Bertram.
Amazing. Pretend like he's not here. He's now flying. And
Does he know he's flying immediately?
Yeah, he knows he can fly because you touched him and cast a spell on him.
Yep.
Does that terrify him any less?
It terrifies him more.
Right.
And he looks at Dedu and he says, "Pretend like I'm not here!
Just fly,
I don't
my
know why
friend.
it's so hard about that!"
You were struggling. And then the dude just kind of like takes off into the distance.
So you know... So Dilbertram is like floating there for a second. And he is kind of getting his bearings.
Don't you have to have concentration on fly?
Yeah.
So if you've just flown away,
How far do I go?
I don't know how far did you go?
How far do I, is it 60 feet? Well, then, yeah, I wouldn't fly farther than 60 feet from him. Dedu would know that.
I was like, is this gonna like?
I thought
fall?
after you cast it on the person, it's the person doing the flying that
Has to concentrate. Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Alright,
have
fair.
it that way because
Yeah.
that's how it goes. Because it's just touch and then now you can fly.
Sure.
Yeah.
However, so he's kind of floating there. You know how okay, if you ever watched some of the Marvel movies, how the first Iron Man, how he's trying to figure out how to fly the suit for the first time.
Yeah.
Right, just wobbly, like kind of doesn't really have his bearings right until eventually he figures out how to lower himself, and then like just like you kind of hear him just going as he's like just slowly lowering himself down to the ground.
I just picture him like doggy paddling down to the ground.
That's it, folks. That's the one. That's the winner. That's what he's doing. So
It's like he's up on a bicycle.
he just kind of like dusts himself off, ends the spell on himself.
Right.
Like somehow it just happens, and just like kind of gets his bearings. He's like, okay, just back to pretending like I'm not here. Thanks, and he goes back to scribbling away.
Gerald didn't even hear him. He's over putting his tent up, seeing where the people are.
Yeah, I
First.
mean it's you're at this base. You're at the base camp here. You can see there's a lot of crates, a lot of boxes, a few larger tents set up probably for just like the actual maybe assembly and things like that.
Is
Like it's
there a
actually quite expansive.
fire?
They've like cleared an area at the top of this
Oh,
mountain.
okay, it's really big.
Yeah.
So we can see specific structures for storage, assembly, and then like camping, like wherever they would be staying.
We still
to-
haven't
to
addressed-
habitate that.
Is there anyone here?
There are a few of the more
Okay.
fresh people who were sent here, but
How
they
many?
they're more just taking stock of things. There appears to be 10 people.
Is that how many we think there should be here?
I mean, 10 people you can see right now, like walking around doing stuff. Like
So it looks normal. It looks like it's running
yeah,
like normal.
looks like it's like operating. Like people again are just like taking inventory and like looking around for stuff. Like they're kind of getting their bearings because they're not the scientists who were assigned to this project.
Right.
Hedrick wants to go up to the first one he sees, just stop them briefly. Excuse me, who's in charge here?
This one is actually a dwarf. Very rare to see dwarves in the Omega Project, but and he looks at you and he says, "Well, I am Luddy."
Well, my name is Hedrick. These are my companions here. I've brought Zero from the Omega Project, and we're here to investigate your missing compadres.
Zero, yes. And he looks right at Zero at this point and addresses Zero directly
Yeah.
and says, "Yes, there are things that are in the main tent over here." And so
Fantastic.
just kind of like guides you over there. He's like, he just kind of gets back. He has to get back to work, but
Yep.
he says, feel free to pour over all the stuff.
Yep. Zero, on leaving the ship, is wearing his armor properly again.
Okay.
Jarrell is following Zero while his, Franz manservant set up like 3 tents for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and Jarrell's gigantic tent.
Oh yeah, Jarrell's huge tent.
Right.
And then he's just following behind. He immediately leaves them
Yeah.
to do his work.
Yeah.
And follows.
Do you guys all follow Zero, I'm assuming? Right? Okay. So yeah, in this tent here, you can see that there's a whole array of like makeshift desks, tables, charts, like blueprints, all these things set up, notebooks, even like, private, even just like canvas, like kind of like rooms inside of this tent that are just kind of like essentially just separated by canvas, cloth. It's quite the operation in here for, because it seems like the Omega Project is used to like pop up research and development operations.
Sure.
There's tons of stuff in here, and you can see kind of where the lead scientist's workstation is. It's like this whole big like machining table and like a few desks and tables just kind of also scattered around towards the back of the tent. Other rooms of note, you can see there's a few other there's like a couple rooms that actually have cots in them too, and some desks and footlockers and whatnot in each of those as well.
Are there any visible journals?
Many. I would say there's about 2 or 3 in the greater lab, and then 1 on the lead scientist's table.
Can I tell which one is the most recent?
Yeah, you kind of see the dates in them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I mean, really, they're only the logs in here only date back 2 weeks.
So Jarrell will hand the most recent one to Zero.
Okay,
Right.
that would be the lead scientists, who actually I already forgot their names. I didn't write it down.
Diggory Do.
That's right.
Don't worry, we didn't forget.
So,
That
Diggory.
implies remembering in
Right.
the first place.
So Diggory's notebook, you can see that the last entry is actually written. Are you flipping to the last entry? Or are you going from the beginning? Actually,
I would like to give him the most recent. So like the
Right.
last dates that they were writing in it, what they were writing on the
Yeah.
last dates. I'm
So
giving
Zero,
that.
do you flip to the last page?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The last entry is actually written in a language and script that is unintelligible.
Okay. Are the characters themselves like normal letters, or are
No.
those?
It would be
It's
an
all just-
entirely different alphabet.
It's nothing we would
what
know.
languages does Zero speak?
Everything Zero does goes back to binary, but
As far as what languages does Zero know?
on here, Common, Elven, Dwarvish, Gnomish.
It is none of those.
All right.
Do you tell Jarrell this?
So before that, right? Just letting you.
Yeah.
Just saying that
Sure,
entry.
sure.
The entry before that
Yeah.
is just like babble. It's like just saying something about like the voices won't stop. They haven't stopped for days. At first I thought it was me, but then others started saying the same thing, and then it just like you see it kind of just started like the handwriting's very heavy from here on out, and it's like saying things just like my precious, like just like every like this journal entry is like interrupted with like that stuff like written in
All
like
work,
all caps.
no play, make.
Right. And then he continues writing like almost as if like he didn't break from the sentence, saying like, we're not sure what to do to stop, but I feel like I need to. I feel like there's somewhere I need to be. And then the next entry is in this unintelligible like script.
Hedrick wants to go back up to the dwarf and goes, I really dig your digs here. I like the way you work it.
He's like
No
he's like busy working.
The only problem, no diggery.
No doubt.
He says,
In which Teddy Riley makes an appearance.
he says, "Can I please get back to work? This is absolutely a distraction."
You're so entertaining.
Zero is flipping through the journal back in the tent.
Yeah.
And he just sort of says out loud to anybody who's there, he was wrong, by the way.
Wrong about what?
The Omega Project scientist, when he said nothing good ever came from hearing voices. He was wrong. Team 23 did inspired work for those 2 months after they started hearing voices.
Good to know, Zero. What does the book say?
Of course, after 2 months they killed each other, but
Oh, good lord!
everything we know about sleep deprivation post 48 hours is from that study, by the way. They gave their lives in service of science.
And he's like flipping through the books.
Flipping
now.
through the book.
You don't think these people killed each other, do you?
Looking around, there doesn't appear to be any visible signs of a struggle. It's like if everyone just literally just left.
Only if they were really inept at killing.
How far would the peak of this mountain or mountain range be from the base camp?
I'd say it's a good hike. Probably about a 20-minute hike from base camp.
Okay. So not far.
Not like
that
super
bad.
far, but far. I mean, far enough that like they have more of a level ground to sleep on.
I want to make a suggestion just to guys. Do you think maybe we should get a better understanding of our surroundings here? I mean, maybe we can get a better vantage point from up there. And he's gonna point up to the summit, and I'm sure like the project is like on the way up to the summit between the base camp and the peak.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people like working and moving things.
Okay. Maybe we could question some of the workers who are up there right now.
That's definitely a good idea. Should we take the ship up there, or you want to climb?
I could use a good walk. We've been riding that thing all
Wasn't
day.
a 20-minute walk isn't going to be worth getting in the airship over.
I mean, it's like a
If
5-minute climb.
Unless you're Jarrell.
Yeah, about to say, it's 5 minutes up and down just the rope ladder.
Right.
Zero's just looking at his fake fingernails that aren't there. Just don't waste my time.
Maybe we can.
No, because I do want to talk to those guys on the way up there.
Yeah. Do we decipher anything else from? I mean, we just read their journal. We don't know like how far along in the project they were,
Or
like,
when the voices started.
We
Like all
ki-
it
we
says
kinda
was
get-
that they wouldn't stop. So all of a sudden it was
I'm
a
sure we
problem.
can get a general sense of that from.
Yeah, so what other clues do the books give us?
Sure. So some of the other journals from some of the other scientists have different phrases written in them. Some of them say "my precious, my precious." Some of them also make mention of the wall.
Okay. Yeah, I know that the undead have been focused on taking down that wall for a long time.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that have been scribbled on there just says, "Tear down that wall, Mr. Gorbachev."
Great.
Oh,
Now, Jarrell will go through some of these books looking for clues in the way that it's written. I can read Infernal, if that helps.
It's not infernal.
Okay. I can read Celestial too, but that's the other one.
It's not celestial.
I would like to do a history or religion check to see if I know what would cause this kind of hallucinations.
Sure. Yeah. Let's make it. Yeah. They both the same bonus.
Yeah,
Are you saying?
yeah.
Okay.
It's 19.
Okay. So it's either. I mean, the fact that it was mentioned that everyone here was experiencing these types of hallucinations.
Mhm.
This is something that's common of either curses, enchantments, or in rare cases in medical history there have been documented cases of like fungus causing mass paranoia, and there's been like maybe environmental reasons why people have gone mad.
Okay. Does the wording and the specification of the delusion hallucinations goal mean anything to me?
There doesn't appear to be too much of a pattern. Only they're talking about the wall
And the precious.
and taking it down, and the precious. Yes.
Okay.
And there's even one that says, there's actually one other note that you find that says, it's like talking about a host body.
Okay.
Like,
Does that ring any bells?
I mean, you know that Arion Black inhabits a body.
Um,
You know,
More or less.
that was not his to begin with.
Right.
That's probably the only case of it that you've experienced firsthand. But it doesn't necessarily specify exactly what about a host body. It just keeps saying host body.
But Gerald would know probably of a couple different things. Is there anything specifically undead that requires a host body?
I mean,
There's a couple.
most of the time it's just like a corpse,
Yeah.
that is used to, essentially
Possessions and stuff like that.
essentially channel the necromantic magics.
Okay. Is there any? We'll figure this out later, I guess.
Okay, this is the project that was working on 11, right?
Yes.
Yep.
This is Project 11. I want to cross-reference Project 11 versus Host Body. Is there any correlation between the two?
There are some mentions of, Project 11 needing to be manned by 2 bodies.
Okay.
2 heads.
Right. But, there's the word host is used a few times, but it's not necessarily like, it's that the host body itself does not appear as a phrase.
Okay, that's the first thing I'm worried about is they're going to, instead of putting a demon or something into a person, they're going to put it into 11.
That's
For a demon-charged
I don't know.
awfulness
Super weapon.
that will be fun as hell to fight.
We don't want to break it.
Well, Zero, forgive me for my ignorance, but what exactly provides your energy to be sentient?
Okay, so
Like, if they're making this thing based off of you, I would
Orphan
imagine.
souls are what power Zero.
Well, if there's some sort of material here that is
how much jargon are you willing to listen to?
I'm just curious how they may be creating this thing based in your image.
And
So-
Dave pulls up VX Junkies.
Yes. So you had several separate questions. Was the first about power or about sentience generation?
Well, just the fact that you at one point did not exist and then you did. And,
So did
and
you.
Something made that possible. Well, I have blood in me, and my blood provides oxygen.
and he has oil.
Yeah,
And it and it provides lubrication and cooling.
Right.
It's dual purpose.
So I just wasn't sure if you just got kind of filled up, topped off, and then you were just ready and moving and going.
So power is driven by, and he opens up a panel on his chest, and there's just the kind of glow that comes out of the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just
Right.
That's either
There's
plutonium
actually
or
a
a human soul.
sound before he closes it back up. The dual re-encabulator.
No further questions.
Right. Yeah. Just like yada yada yada. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if there's any more of that here at the camp that they're planning on powering, 11 with, that could be drawing some sort of those energies as well. If they're looking for souls,
There is
they're
a-
looking
That's
for-
something I want to ask about because the power consumption is exponential. They've got either something totally new powering this thing, or it's going to be big and awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's crates full of parts and materials and gears and encabulators, and there's also there appears to be like a few dilators and like a bosun lift and UNOST VVER-4, as well as an inertial reference
Wait, they
sphere.
got the -4s here?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. There's a few Riemann inverters and a Dwight Harmon field projector. Actually, a couple Dwight Harmon field projectors, but one of them seems to be out of the box. Probably it's already been brought up or fitted to one of the cannons. There's also a couple matrix analyzers and some field manipulators and whole lots of things.
Yeah, my nickname in college was the field manipulator.
I'm just gonna let that one stew.
Was that due to your work in Ultimate Frisbee?
Ah, damn right.
So lots of materials here. Those just to name a few.
Or
Just a few.
groundskeeping?
Of the parts and pieces needed to make a machine like this function. Any hoozle. That's kind of some of the information you've been able to gather from the journals. It seems like from the patterns you've been able to put together that people, it seems like the last journal entries for most were about a week ago. And a lot of them start talking about like needing to like go somewhere, like feeling like they need to go somewhere. And Quinn, I would like for you to make me a wisdom save.
6.
You hear her whispering.
Come to the place. Bring me your blood. You will be a perfect candidate, my precious.
And you feel, well, we'll talk about how you feel next week on the Hapless
Is that
Heroes.
really the end of the episode already?
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Oh my
dun.
So if you like us, you can find us on the internet.
The fuck?
We are on such places as Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. It's at Hapless Heroes for Twitter and Instagram, and then Hapless Heroes Podcast for that Facebook. Also /r/Hapless Heroes Podcast on Reddit. My cat says hi. He's jingling for you. Those places will point you to our Discord server. There's an invite link on there that's pinned on most of the places we can pin stuff. And it's a great place to hang out. We've had more and more people joining us, discussing any old topic, whether it's the show. We have like spoiler tagged discussions for our episodes, like so that you don't have to worry about having any episodes spoiled for you. If like you're just listening to this now and this episode released however long ago, like don't worry, we try to protect you. We also have many off-topic discussions, and the topic of sandwiches being like what makes a sandwich has gotten so fucking out of hand that I don't even know where to go anymore.
It's a soup.
That's it right there. I think that's actually where
Sandwiches
we've
are
been.
soup.
Well, especially since I'm not eating carbs anymore, I feel like
Yeah.
a soup has to be my sandwich.
But yeah, come, join us in the discussion however way you want, or even just email us haplessheroes@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. But if you also want to, find an even cooler way to reach out to us and tell us just how much you love us, you can leave us a 5-star review on the podcast service of your choice. Those reviews help us grow in the ranks, get more visibility, bring more people like you, yes, you, I'm talking to you, awesome person listening to this show, just like you, to our show, with your kind words. And we'll say some kind words back to you, I promise.
Because we love you.
Because we love you. But if you really, really like us, you can donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/haplessheroes. We've had many people donate to us so far. It means a tremendous deal. I think I mentioned this in our last episode, but that, this year we've actually been able to pay for our hosting costs just on donations alone. And that's the first time in the history of this show that that's ever happened, where we didn't have to pay out of pocket to host this podcast for you. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. It has blown me away, the amount of support that we've received, even from just a few of you who are still donating, whether it's past, present, future, whatever. You are amazing. And we have great rewards to give back to you. Bloopers, behind the scenes audio, the contents of James' notebook, submitting a story arc to the show, which, spoiler alert, I am taking liberties with one that was submitted to us for this adventure itself by our very own Omnius Primus. Obviously, I'm not going to do word for word so that those of us who are privy to that information aren't going to be able to just figure it all out. I'm talking to you, Omnius. However, I think we're going to enjoy it. I really liked it a lot. It's a great suggestion, and especially at the $20 level. Dude, you've given not only a gift of your money, but a gift of a beautiful and amazing idea for a story. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you really, really love us, you want to go get tickets to see Sally Field and the whole deal on their new European tour, then what you should do is taking your VX unit, use a pre-3 if you can. Try to replicate the Lax Blythe Continuum without a dilated positron deceleration unit.
Yep.
Use the resulting Aufdermar effect to play the theme to the Hapless Heroes podcast. And then send it to us by snail mail.
So easy.
I'm so sorry, Ryan Hawk. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and outro this cast for you. To my right, we had John playing Lord Jarrell the Light.
Until next time.
Dave as Omega Project Prototype 0, aka Zero Valence Avatar of War.
Good night.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Quinn, are you feeling okay?
And Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
Nobody's ever asked for my blood before.
And I'm Francesco. I've been your host and DM. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Boop.